Hey everyone, welcome to Continuous Thunder. I'm not going to make any friends with this one, but I don't have any friends anyway, so I don't care. So what are we talking about? We're talking about BUOYS, the new album by Panda Bear that's available now on Domino Records. Panda Bear is a name that musician Noah Lennox performs and records under. He's been active since the late 90s, and he's best known as the most visible and prolific member of the Animal Collective. Over the course of his career, he's been very influential in the genres of experimental and psychedelic pop and electronic music, both in the Animal Collective and as a solo artist. He even had a feature on Daft Punk's Random Access Memories, which happens to be one of my favorite features and songs in general on that album. All that being said, BUOYS is a surprisingly and even shockingly weak release from such a lauded and respected artist. Starting with production and instrumental, Panda Bear's work is known for its busy and dense arrangements, which Lennox somehow manages to turn into the perfect backing for his very strong vocal melodies, and we'll get to those later. Whether it sounds like an old 60s sample and a wash of reverb or noisy electronic sequencing, he always managed to make it fun. On BUOYS, the most prevalent instrument is an acoustic guitar, and it's been compressed like crazy, and it has this weird panning delay on it. It's always played in this jerky, robotic pattern with very few chords. You'd think that the panning delay would create like a hypnotic effect, but it actually accomplishes more like being jarring or distracting. The guitar is sometimes accompanied by sparse electronics and the occasional water drip sound. There are a few moments, like on the song Token, where electronics are introduced and you think you're going to be treated to a more traditional Panda Bear song, but the build-up always drops off and you're taken right back to the herky-jerky acoustic guitar. All of this leads to a 30-minute album that feels like an eternity in a bad way. And this is coming from an artist who made 13-minute experimental pop songs interesting and fun. Now, what has always been Panda Bear's most redeeming quality is the way he writes very strong vocal melodies. It's how he put experimental pop on everyone's radar and partially responsible for catapulting Merriweather Post Pavilion onto everyone's iPods. But on BUOYS, the best melodies are few and far between. And on any other Panda Bear album that might not be terrible, even the clumsiest of vocal melodies can be forgiven if the backing track is good, or if it's pushed far enough back in the mix and covered in a wash of reverb that it almost becomes irrelevant. It's just a part of the sound. You're not paying too much attention to it. On this album, the vocals are often front and center, and they too have weird delays on them at times, and sometimes these delays clash with the rhythms that are trying to be established by the delay on the guitar. A lot of the songs feel like combinations of 2 or 3 unfinished melody sketches, and often the best melodies are paired with much weaker ones, and some are just plain bad. However, the album isn't completely irredeemable. There are 1 or 2 tracks, namely Token and I Know I Don't Know, that I can make myself enjoy after a few repeat listens. But there are some on here that no amount of Stockholm Syndrome could make me enjoy. In fact, I'm not entirely sure there's a single song on this album that I can point to and say, front to back, that it's a good song. In the end, BUOYS ends up being a very, very disappointing release from Panda Bear. Everything that very nearly made him a household name a decade ago is glaringly absent. Melodies and instrumentals are clumsy, some songs are weird in a bad way, others are just plain boring. I can't really give this album more than a 1.5 out of 5. Lennox said in an interview with Rolling Stone that this was the beginning of something new, and you know, there might be some workable ideas on here, but they've got a long way to go before this something new ends up on par with his past work. So yeah, 1.5 out of 5. I can't go any higher than that. I just can't. But that's going to do it for this round of Continuous Thunder. I would like to know your thoughts. Did you listen to this album? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Are there things that I left out that you'd like to discuss in more detail? Go ahead and leave those down in the comments. I will also take suggestions for the next album that I should review here on the channel. I'm also taking any suggestions and constructive criticisms that you have for the improvement of the format of this channel. Once again, I'm still trying to figure things out. It's still a very new thing for me, but any constructive criticism you can offer would be appreciated. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to know next time I put stuff out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go listen to Merriweather Post Pavilion.